founded the band Throwing Muses in 1984 and was the first American act signed to 4AD, the label many of you may know as a groundbreaking indie label. The show you're going to see tonight is excerpts from 3 books that she's written, 2 album books, which are essentially record albums released as in book form. Many of you who have me classes have seen these books, but these are like hardcover books with CDs in them. Oh, CD's out of this one, but you know, the CD that goes in here, and there are these beautiful art books, which was a new way of releasing music when we started doing that in 2010. What else do we want to say? So the show is readings from these books about the songs and about being in a band and about songwriting. And then Kristin's going to intersperse these readings with songs that illustrate some of what she's talking about. So please welcome Kristin Hersh.
Thank you.
Who's the loser drunk on mystery? Artificially sweet, too dumb to go home. At the wet end of a good choking, it's too late to go home. He said, do you know what it feels like to be broke? He said, do you know what it feels like to be broke? Do you know what it feels like to be running down the street, artificially clean, too drunk to go wrong. At the wet end of a good choking, it's too late to go home. He said, do you know what it feels like to be broke? Do you know what it feels like to be Thank you. mysteries. You know what it's like when mistakes go unmade. It was beautiful. It was you. I'm giving up the ugly. I thought you'd make pretty. A big diamond. This is beautiful. Hold my hand. Swimming is a good wine, opens your mind. Your guitar's a race car, sex is your best friend. What's your dirty answer? What's your dirty answer? What's your dirty answer? Don't judge people, I just watch them, but it's time to look away. I wanna look away now. Somebody's coming. I don't wanna live backward. I don't wanna even look backward. It's not my fault. It's not my fault you don't love me. It's not my fault. It's not my fault you don't love me when I'm drunk. Now wait, I'm so tired. I'm so tired. Carry me for a little while. 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 Now I'm gonna read at you, ha. This is my teenage diary. Do not publish your teenage diary. You probably already know that. But I am here as a cautionary tale. When I started my band, I was a teenager, and my best friend was an old movie star named Betty Hutton, who used to come to all of our shows and bring her priest. Far from everyone, huddled in a corner of the club, are Betty and her priest. I've never asked her why she brings her priest to shows, but he's always there. I know they're very close. They're sort of dating spiritually. And they never miss a show. It's funny, like every day is bring your grandma and her priest to work day. Betty can't even pronounce the name of the band. She says Throwing Muses is too many syllables. I told her Betty Hutton has just as many, but she ignored me. Tonight, Betty's wig is gold, and she's wearing her blue cowboy boots and a cowboy hat. Her priest is dressed as a priest. When we play gay bars, she and her priest look like a couple of nifty drag queens. But in this dismal rock club, they look small and lonely, out of place. It's sad that this is their big Friday night out on the town. There are probably better things for an old lady and her priest to do on a Friday night. But Betty thinks she has to come to all of our shows because I need help. This is true. She says I'm a reluctant performer, also true, and that she can learn me up to sparkle. This will never happen. Betty grew up in the golden age of Hollywood, back when movies were Broadway on film, so her idea of music is singing as entertainment, and you can't call what I do singing or entertainment. I hiss and yell and wail. Sometimes I make seagull noises, unfortunately. Music is something I have almost no control over, like well-rehearsed Tourette's. When Betty sings, she sits at a piano and says lovely things about hope and broken hearts. I often sing phonetically, as if I don't speak English. The words climb out of my throat and into my mouth, then I have to spit them out. Betty sings about starlight and champagne. I sing about dead rabbits and blowjobs. When I say playing music is owning violence, she says it's owning love. When I say it's math, she says it's tap dancing. When I say it's my gun, she says it's her dance card. I've also noticed that she sings notes that go with the chords in her songs. I have yet to do that. It sounds pretty when Betty does it. It sounds boring and goofy when I do it. So I make up new notes, ones that don't belong anywhere near the chords I'm playing, and I sing those. People must think, it's so nice of them to let that deaf girl sing. Hysterical bending, can't speak. Hysterical woman screams, I think. Oh, that old bending, a woman can't be held. This river runs like water through hell. One red wing on a mountain, water through land. This train says I can't be contained. Tributaries fly. Hysterical mending, can't speak. Hysterical woman screams, I think. That old bending, a woman can't be held. This river runs like water through hell. One mad way on a mountain, I hate the rain. This train says I can't be contained. My baby flies. Oh, this chalet, this chalet rain, rain. Oh, girl, by this chalet, how do I live? How do I live without dying? Yeah. Let people know what? Oh yeah. I forgot about him. Molly Cliff Hiltz, a painter in Portland, Oregon, paints to my music, which made me never want to meet her or see her paintings. But they're pretty nice. I don't think she's listening very carefully. She paints in encaustic, which is wax, so when you're up next to them, it's like a Van Gogh. It jumps out. There's so much texture and so much melting together of the colors. And she paints natural scenes with urban elements and vice versa, which is very similar to the Teenage Diary I was just reading you. So as Molly puts it, she's got my back. So no matter how shy I am, Molly's always back there making it look prettier than it really is. Mississippi Kite. Confusion, yeah, but the ranting kind, sort of spinning out. Mississippi Kite doesn't stop to brood over question marks. It blathers and chatters and lists and spits and paces, won't shut up, but ends up saying only that something's missing, gliding over a gaping hole, squawking. It's probably true that pretend TVs and LA gloss will burn you cold. I've had worse, but cold as a demeanor, no matter what the cause, is limiting. It stops you in your tracks, and then you have to live there, safe and sleepy. Not dead, just deadened, humming along like a zombie. Singeing your nuts in icy water is better because that wakes you up. Sure, it's dangerous here, but not caring keeps you from taking care of each other. You gotta dole out the snow and lemon drops, that's why you're here. On fire, underwater, wherever you are, your people are waiting for you to care. Their investment floats you back up to the surface, where, of course, you can't help but paddle around a little and glance over at the shore, and there's always something there to hold your gaze. You paint your own TV on the wall, carve out insects to feed us all. Lights flash by and the fast world echoes your thoughts. Their compass led you to the edge of a lake. You'll singe your nuts down there if you take such bad advice from the love gods of hate. You'll get cold, you get burned, you get cold. 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 Ah, the plush green rug in the lime green light, eyes like white stones in black light. I promise you everything that you like. I go Mississippi kind, Mississippi kind, Mississippi kind. Crosses sails us then dims, comic book nights, LA grim, the Hollywood Martians, lucky stiffs fucking win. You told me enough times you can't give me enough rope to hang myself one time, but I can always hope you come down on me so hard that I choke and go. You get burned, you get cold. 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 Meanwhile, I feed you boric acid in the air, lemon drops, snow cream, speckled eggs. The sweat seeps in through a crack in your head, and you go Mississippi kind, Mississippi kind, Mississippi kind, Mississippi kind, Mississippi kind, Mississippi kind. Thank you. Crate. A Garden of Eden next door to a McDonald's. Primordial ooze dripping down the highway. Crate goes humanist biblical on your ass with a little Raising Arizona thrown in. which life tends to do sometimes. Not a bad way to tear through personhood. We drive and drive and drive, and the road still stretches out before us, an eternity of going. That is, until we pull over and find that the dirt is willing to claim us too. On the way, fast food and bad air happen, peeling paint. We turn chemicals upside down and backwards, swallow them, breathe them in, and presto, we got ourselves some messed up brain cells. But maybe now's the time for messed up brain cells? Creates a happy song, though. It keeps going because we keep going. That's what we do, and it matters. Our children are the crawling, milk-fed ids who don't know broken because, unshakable in their tiny heroism, they thrust themselves into the battle against wasted time and naked shame, fighting everything that's wrong with us. I read my children as my only Bible because they seem to know everything, and they're so good at picking up where we left off. In a suburban desert, a fast food high, we swipe at peeling paint, swat away flies, the crawling milk-fed, squawking cream-filled hominids, kids, immune to broken, to naked shame, to bolts of lightning. Bungee together, your body's guards, the bloodiest bond, blacking out the dark, the darkest flame, the darkest wolves, a sunburned snarl, the rushing and parched, a singular desire to drive into the dirt. No lust, no gluttony, we're free as algae. In a suburban desert, a fast food hype, we swipe at peeling paint, swat away flies, the crawling milk-fed, squawking cream-filled hominids, it's immune to broken, to wasted time, to bolts of lightning. To broken flame, to broken walls, to sunburned snarl, the rushing and parched, a singular desire to drive into the dirt. No lust, no gluttony, we're free as algae. Those with an all-consuming passion in life still. Thank you very much. Yeah, we lost my last bookmark. Where's flirting at the end? It's okay to slip out of your life clothes and let them fall to the floor. I bet it feels cool. I don't know. All I know is how it feels to be left behind here on fuzzy, prickly earth. Lost, lousy, sort of pissed off. Essentially bored. I mean, like your essence is bored because happy is gone, fun is gone, That metallic glint in your loved one's eye that said something's about to happen is gone. Nothing's about to happen is much less exciting, though I imagine it's soothing to the person who left. No pain is about to happen. I get that. So, like most people, when I pick up my head, I grab me a hammer and fashion memory goggles out of that heavy, weightless, left-behind sensation. And I start telling myself the stories me and the gone person lived together. These stories are the tools that help me work this fuzzy, prickly planet until I'm allowed to slip out of my life clothes and follow my friends home. I can pinpoint the moment you closed your eyes and said yes to the flooding. Like melting, you shrugged off the clothes of your life, and well, I hope you remind me it's here. I hope you remind me it's here. At twice the speed, hungering for someone who left in half the time. Fuzzy, fumbling, that thirst is gone. We're alone. Parking lot plea, begging for a future you need. Fuzzy, fumbling, that thirst is gone. We're alone. Thank you very much. Sunray Venus. When we leave our beach, which we do often, we go looking for another beach. 'Cause our hard stories have made us wimpy, I guess. Or since we can't be with the beach we love the beach we're with. Or else maybe we just like beaches. They stand in direct contrast to the startling loneliness of falling in love again and again and never settling down that is touring. Turns you wispy when what you want is weight, solidity, belonging. Oceans don't make you matter, of course, don't lend you any matter, or even acknowledge the puniness you wear around, but they do make you feel better about meaning nothing to nobody, because next to an ocean, your mass pales right alongside everyone else's. So does your life expectancy. So we try to blend on these foreign shores, join the other shell crushers tiptoeing over Sanibel or Kangaroo Island, and stuff our pockets. Not greedily, just in search of the perfect memento. This is not even legal sometimes. One morning, a customs official was giving me shit about a Manly beach shell I had in my suitcase. Manly Beach is in Australia. It's a beach I guess they didn't want anyone to think was sissy. When he saw my distortion pedal and decided it was a bomb. Wouldn't calm down about it until my bass player and I took the pedal apart in front of him with about 6 other nervous customs officials looking on. Peering in closer, they got interested, starting asking questions as if we were performing an operation for them. We went from embarrassed to smug, pontificating about electricity facilitating art. We impressed the hell out of those guys, who then waved us through, smiling and laughing. We had to wave back with our elbows, though, because our arms were full of what appeared to us to be unrelated chunks of metal. At the gate, we sat struggling with these robot parts in our laps until it was time to board the plane. Ended up tossing it all in the trash, embarrassed again. Where'd Smug go? She was nice. That afternoon, I slipped out of the hotel and quietly bought a new distortion pedal. My point being that the jumpy customs official forgot all about my manly beach shell, which I still have, and it's beautiful. Definitely worth the price of a new distortion pedal. So while I may not be the only person on my island holding a shell and smiling, I bet I'm the only one smiling about the manly lingerie store, the manly children's choir, the manly wedding dress shop, and the manly baby shower boutique. Something to be said for falling in love. On Friday careless, on Friday blank. We sit at the young man's feet, bells working, and no one remembers to pray. Working into light, another island where no one remembers to pray. Open your mouth, your best for the moment, kisses all around. Some red Venus crushed on the floor and kisses all around. Living that is limbo. Ah, hell, I remember you. Touch with the crust in the moment. Run your body down. Slid your brain around. There's some disease you got there, a lousy friend. Pour your heart out at his feet, crying puking. Still no one remembers your name. Open your mouth, you're blessed for the moment, kisses all around. Some red Venus crushed on the floor and kisses all around. Open your mouth and fall through the cracks, kisses all around. Some red Venus crushed on the floor and kisses all around. Living that is limbo. Ah, hell, I remember you. Thank you very much. Sometimes, of course, our house is a bus, and that's always a nice, goofy little party. Because to us, safety is escape, but also because the bus is a metal microcosm of our piece of the hologram. The darkening nutcracker blue outside keeps us happy inside, where gold seeds demand focus. Heaven is any place that moves you hard, anyone who's smart enough to be kind, any time that's now. The boys are laughing as usual, but they're serious too, talking about work. We've all noticed that we keep holding hands and jumping into an iffy volcano. Its frightening brightness more attractive than numb, certainly much funnier. Broke, hungry, unwashed, lonely, sleep-deprived, nothing hurts when you're barreling down the road in heaven. Thank you. Thank you.
Kristen's here for happy to answer questions if you have any.
Ah. And I'm going to perform an operation.
So if you have any questions, go to that microphone. Right? This microphone. Just put your hand up, and Kristen will be happy to answer questions about whatever there is to ask. Almost anything.
Anything. I have recipes.
Just for those, like, the songs you played and the pieces you read, with most of them, did the songs come first, or did the written part come first?
The songs come first. I have no control over music. I got hit by a car and started hearing songs when I was a teenager. And the music comes first, and then one of the instruments is phonetic melody that becomes lyrics. And so when I say I have no control, I have no control. I'm even afraid to edit sucky stuff out. And when it was Billy's idea to start publishing records as books, and that's when it was thrust upon me to begin writing
So it's his fault.
essays. And the Muses record is like 32 songs, and when they told me I had to write 32 related essays that reflected all the themes in the material and come up with some cohesive form, I just said, no. And I pouted for about a month, I guess. And then my drummer and I started identifying actually colors and just thematically related elements. And then those essays wrote themselves, because music, as it turns out, is not a higher art form than the others. I thought it was.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Your voice is like so unique and so like original. Did you like from the start, was that like the tone that you used, or did you like find it along the way? Like how long did it take you to like find that sound you liked?
It was really annoying at first. It sounded like a squashed bug would sound while you were squashing it. I had to wait for it to get wrecked before I liked it, and it got wrecked. My band 50 Foot Wave particularly destroyed my voice, and now I like it a lot better, and soon it will be gone. But it changes from not just band to band, but song to song in a very striking way. It's almost like a production element, and I have to wear a producer hat to stand in the control room and say, is that the voice of the song? It's almost like a character, but that makes it sound removed from me, which it isn't. It's just that the song is more important to me. So it can't just be my voice. It has to be an instrument.
Hello.
Hi.
So I was just a little curious. As a female artist, I'm sure you've thought about, the way like gender roles play a part in the music industry. And I was just wondering what experiences you've had that have helped you like form, your opinion on that, and like just any general advice you have.
I have never seen myself as female. I saw myself as a human, and so I went about playing music that way. And my demographic, well, I don't have one. There was a Village Voice preview of one of my shows that said you should go just to see the cross-section of humanity that will attend a Kristin Hersh show. And I've gotten a lot of crap from publicists for that reason. But I'm not real interested in playing for straight white chicks. It seems kind of evil. And but as you say, I mean, there are issues at play. I just haven't really engaged with them. I think my difficulty arose when I started to succeed, actually, and I was being put in, I guess, compromising situations where I could have made better choices and not done fashion shoots. And there were a few that we ended up walking out of. Because you're trying to do your job well, and I want to be articulate, and I want to be a hard worker. And then when you end up half naked in a New York hotel room, and they're telling you this is what music is, that's when you walk out.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Hi.
Hi.
Your music makes me very happy.
Really? You're the first person who's ever said that. You can come home with me tonight.
Yeah. Yes. When you're writing and when you're singing and when you're in the studio and just doing whatever it is that you're finding yourself doing in a particular day, what goes through your head? Like, do you play it by ear? Do you have like a set formula of
You
when
know
you're
what?
writing?
It's nothing. I have to have nothing in my head. When I begin a session and you're trying to, say, refine your sonic vocabulary, I know exactly what I want. I know the microphones I want to use. I know where I want them placed. I know where I want the amps in the room so that I can get the natural room sound. I know the kick drum sound I want, and I'm always completely wrong. Like, couldn't be more off base. And I think there's a lesson in that. Not just that I blow at what I do, but have no expectations. Let the songs tell you what to do. And so I could just be really dumb, but I think it has more to do with being so empty that you can let the songs boss you around.
Thank you.
Sure.
I have a question, actually. First of all, I wanted to say both your stories and your music was very captivating. And over here.
Oh, sorry.
Hey.
I don't have my contacts here.
It's okay.
Y'all are just a very pretty fuzz of color right now.
Thank you. But anyways, I wanted to know if you'd ever thought of doing, the voice for other people's stories, like actually like audio books, because your voice it's so unique and special to listen to. I was just over here like listening to the stories, just completely enthralled, partially due to the content, but partially because of your voice itself. It's like perfectly suited to
Wow, really?
listen to. Yeah,
I hate my voice.
really.
I guess I'm supposed to read Rat Girl, but they said to bring a therapist and a massage therapist.
Oh,
They say it's awful.
really? Well, I enjoyed
Have you
it.
done that, right? You just, like reading a whole book. You can do it in your head, but out loud, it's like you'd start to hate yourself.
Maybe.
But thank you. That was a very nice compliment.
You're welcome.
I'm following the mic.
Hi. Wait, hello? Oh, okay. Hi. That was awesome.
Thank you.
I had a question about like in the early '90s when like throwing muses were really starting to like get really popular. Who is your favorite band that you toured with and why? Or if you had to choose like one or two, I know it's like a really
From that
loaded
time?
question. Yeah, yeah.
Oh, the Pixies were just our sibling band. They started as our opening band, and we come from an island where you either surf or you have a hardcore band, and we couldn't surf, and so we had this kind of like hardcore thing, sorta, and yet we always felt lonely because we were so idiosyncratic. You know, hardcore is really specific genre, and we were sort of breaking out of that, and the Pixies were too, and so we're just losers. We wanted our friends around, so I had them signed to our management and then signed to our label, and then we just traveled all over the world together. We were so young that we would sing sing sad songs in the van about missing home. But I
This
don't
is
know
in
if that's a good
Massachusetts?
reason to like a band. They were good, but you know, I liked them because they were our best friends.
That's awesome. When this was in Massachusetts?
Yeah, in Boston, but there were a lot of great bands there. We missed Mission of Burma, but we played with their offshoot bands. The Volcano Sons were amazing. What's that? Dinosaur Jr., yeah. I mean, every night we would play with like 5 or 6 unbelievable bands. It was a really good kind of boot camp because I don't even remember anyone headlining. You just, when you got off the stage, you became part of the audience, which was all bands, and it was like this bonfire of good music because top 40, you know, it was awful. And it's always awful, but it was really bad then. And so we were just kind of, there's no room for competition when you have a common enemy like that.
That's awesome. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Oh, we toured all over the world, yeah, with the Pixies.
That's awesome. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Hi, I'm here. Oh, sorry. We have two
Hello,
mics.
sweetheart.
We have 2 mics going on, so like, the guy just walked out. Sorry.
I'm easily confused.
So like, thank you so much. That was so good. And like, I follow you on Twitter for a while. I know it sounds so creepy, but I do.
You know what that is? It's my kids. I don't say anything. They talk shit and I type it.
Yeah, I mean, like, I have a question about like running this Twitter, because you know on Twitter there are artists who their agency or their management run their Twitter. You run your Twitter yourself.
Oh yeah.
You type your.
I don't think anybody wants to take credit for that.
But I feel like as an artist, I mean, obviously, you have a lot of fans, a lot of followers, and all that. How can you keep it personal that you have that interaction, but like private as well? Because that's sort of seems to be on the opposite side. But I mean, like, I feel like you're doing it very well. I just want to know.
That's a very good question, and it was difficult at first because Billy made me do it because he makes me do everything. But it's a good outlet for a shy person. My bandmates and I have known each other since we were about 9 years old, and we used to pass notes in school. And it became sort of our art form. We loved it, and it's not, you know, a good career, but it did inform this kind of social networking. And I can't handle Facebook because it's too much talking, but 140 characters is so succinct, and it seems to attract a lot of smart resonance. It's not necessarily response, but resonance. I've met thousands of amazing people all over the world just because we're allowed like a fortune cookie length of conversation.
Right.
And there's just so much funny and good in the world that's worth sharing, that it's touching. Even if you're not trying to touch anybody, it's still reaching out with something that isn't lowbrow and isn't selling them something. Oh, and the
like
way I keep privacy is to tweet out of time. I shouldn't say that, but it's often what I'm doing now. But that's what Twitter is. What are you doing right now? Right. And I'm too shy. It's like too much invasion of privacy, so I tweet just a few hours off.
That's great.
It's still my time.
Right. That's great. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Hi. You're very interestingly dope, and like I'm still trying to like wrap.
I want to write that on my forehead. It's like,
I'm still trying to wrap my head around it, but I mean I probably will have it by the time I go to bed tonight. But just curious, what is your take on spirituality? Because you have a very, based on your writing, I think, beautiful take on life.
oh,
So I
thank
want to know.
you.
Yeah, just curious. Like, does spirituality mean anything to you? Not necessarily like religion, but like.
Well, music is as close as I get to religion and my kids. I'm very, I'm simple. I'm like a dog. Really. Like I'm like an intellectual animal, and I'm missing everything in between. And so spirituality to me is very basic animal stuff, like weather and sex and music and why we're here. It seems so fundamentally acceptable if you just stop there. You once the question marks start floating around and you let your brain get involved, then it's not acceptable, and that's okay. You can go up into the choppy waters of not acceptable for a while, as long as you remember that fundamental will bring you back home.
There was a line where you said, if you're smart enough to be kind. Do you mind explaining that?
I don't know how. I think kindness is probably the best we can do, and if I ever played a song that wasn't kind, then I failed. I had a girl commit suicide to one of my songs. Her suicide note was the lyrics. She carved the title into her arm when she died, and that's when I realized I can't take people into choppier waters than they're able to handle. And so I've never done that again. That song was unpublishable because it was too many of my question marks. It wasn't down deep and fundamental enough to make her feel okay. There was too much pain in it. So pain is real and it does resonate, but you have to take someone beyond that, and that's the kindness that's asked of me as a musician, the dog-like kindness. Thank you, everybody. Thank you.